This is the
Hello.
Acolyte. Hi.
This is the Acolyte.
So right off the bat, how did you like that the canonization of the opening title with lyrics? We so called that. Wait, you noticed,
There's actually
right?
lyrics?
Yep.
Wait, when did that happen? What are you talking about?
I could swear they said the. You heard it, right?
Only on the second listen did I feel like I was confident that that's what they had said.
In
But
the
yes.
intro of this
I was so
the
confident.
show, it said
Yeah, they
this
went-
is the Acolyte.
No,
They
it just said
the Acolyte. They went the Acolyte.
No.
Really?
Yes. Oh my gosh.
No.
I was so excited for this.
I so missed
Who in
that.
chat noticed?
That's so funny.
I'll give you a timestamp if any of you want to re-listen.
Oh
It
my
was
goodness,
at-
I missed that.
It was 5:23. The Acolyte title.
Oh, that's
with lyrics,
really funny,
voices.
Rick. Rick Scott
5:23.
says, "Did anyone else think for a hot moment that May had just cut off her own head with that lightsaber? Like it was so brutal." I did not think that. I was pretty okay. You know what I did think? I was like, she's definitely gonna cut her hair, but I was like, how convenient that OSHA's haircut is just one slash of a lightsaber blade.
One
away.
lightsaber slash away.
So that's like
Good
when you
thing-
go into
good-
yeah. I don't know if when you go into the barber, they ask you for like your number of razor, right? When you go into the barber, like in Star Wars, they're like, how many lightsaber slashes would you
Yeah,
like?
right.
Just one. That's a number one lightsaber slash.
Oh man. Thank goodness these twins that haven't seen each other in 16 years ended up with the
Yeah,
exact
right.
same hairdo.
Yeah, and their skin, they don't have any like skin blemishes or
Nothing different.
That
No,
are
nothing
different about
different.
each other.
no. It's
So-
very, it's
so
very
exact.
important. There is one that's very notable, which is OSHA has a tattoo. They called attention
that's
to this
true.
in the first episode, and
Oh,
they
yeah,
showed it
that's
again
right.
You're right.
in
you're
this
right.
episode.
But not enough
you're
of a
right.
tattoo to fool
Yeah, I wonder.
Saul, the Jedi Master who trained OSHA for so long.
Well, no,
Yeah,
no, because he only saw the tattoo this week.
Ah,
So
right,
but that
still.
will definitely be what he
Yeah.
notices, and he's like,
Yeah.
oh wait, that's not OSHA.
You don't think it's going to be
Right.
Basil sniffing May and being like, "This isn't OSHA, this is May"?
I think
It should be Basil.
I think that
It feels like what
I
Basil's
think, I think
being
that
led to
Soul
do.
I think that Soul speaks Shriwook and doesn't know how to speak.
Oh man, I just really
Whatever
hope
it was.
That's
Yeah,
such a good
whatever that
point,
was.
right?
Tynan.
Like,
Tynan.
oh no,
Tynan,
okay, so
Tynan.
you're right though, Ender. I think there's two things at play here, and they've like we said like a couple episodes ago, that it's very purposeful storytelling. So I think both of those things are going to come into play. So Justin, I think that Basil will be freaking out and trying to tell Soul something, but the writers have already made it clear that it's very rare that anyone understands these rats. Okay, and and the only guy that understood him is now Himbo Jedi. Pour one out for Himbo Jedi, everybody.
Oh yeah, this is a
I can't-
spoiler chat.
Yeah,
by the way.
goodbye.
Oh yeah, this is
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
a
Oh yeah,
spoiler.
yeah. No,
Sorry,
you
everybody.
should,
There's-
you should know that going into these. by
Yeah.
now.
Yeah.
After parties. Sorry about that. So yeah, that's why it is a spoiler chat. I was correct. Turns out that it was indeed Darth Maul. That was the Sith.
The whole time.
So,
And we have to, yeah, I have
Well,
to
what's-
admit you did get that one.
Well, like
So
what?
okay, no. But what I meant
was
to, what I
finally
was trying to
Darth
say
Maul.
is like I think both of you guys are right. I think that the whatever the thing is called, the rat, is going to be probably freaking out, saying that's not OSHA, right? And then I know I'm frozen. I'll fix it.
I really think it's going to be the tattoo.
No, it's both. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh, right,
it's
right,
gonna
right.
be,
No, you're right, you're
It's
right.
gonna be the rat, and Soul is gonna be like, what? What are you freaking out about? Why are you telling me? Why are you like doing this? And then he's gonna see the tattoo or something like that, and then he's gonna realize it himself. So that's how I think that's all gonna play out. Because I think they're being very purposeful with everything that they do. So so I think it's both. That's my opinion.
Yep.
I think it's I mean, I know it's obvious. Okay, yes, it's Maul. It's for sure Maul. But one thing that Maul and Khmer potentially have in common is thinking that they're Sith. I mean, we don't know that Khmer is not a Sith, but arguably he's not. I mean,
Well,
we don't know.
He even didn't claim to be.
Yeah, he said you might
And
call
most
me.
Sith are very proud of being Sith. Like that's what makes a Sith different from any other dark side user, is that Sith is a very specific way of yielding the dark side, and it's like a very dogmatic belief system, at least at this point in the development, right? Like Sith don't walk around not claiming they're Sith, right? Like they're proud of being Sith, right? Like that's the point of being a Sith, right?
Right, but I do think that Khmer's thing, and I think the show's thing in general, has a lot to do with like how the Jedi being so institutionally powerful. Yes. He's basically like, you define the fact that I'm a Sith. Otherwise, I would just be doing my own thing.
Right, just comfortable with his darkness.
But
But that's also a lie. I mean, it's also a lie
agree
because
with
everything the
that
Sith
with
says
it.
is a lie. But
Yeah, but I definitely agree with that within like the purpose and the meaning in the show. But is that true to canon?
I don't know.
about Sith?
I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like I thought that Sith are like very like rule of two. Here's the rules. Kill your master. We're Sith. We're they're very specific about being Sith.
Okay, I don't
Right?
know if the rule of two was a thing. You know, it was.
Yeah, it was.
But,
Darth Bane,
But
long
the
time
rule
ago.
of two was like. But the rule of two was introduced. I mean, I think Darth Bane was the one who first really hardcore did rule of two.
But that would have been before this, right? Darth Bane happened before this story.
Yes.
Darth
Absolutely,
Bane came
yes.
before Plagueis, came before.
Immediately before Plagueis? I thought Darth Bane was like,
Order
I thought he was like
Old
of
Republic.
Sith.
yeah.
Bane, Plagueis. Yeah, but either way. Oh yeah, there was Xana, of course. Okay, Bane, Cognis, Xana, Tenebris, Plagueis.
Let's get
Okay.
nerdy, y'all. Let's do it.
Hold on, you skipped Darth Millennial.
God, I thought you
I just didn't have the stomach for it. I just skipped it. I was just like, I'm not reading that one.
Is he really Darth Millennial?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Dude,
Really?
he's like, give me the avocado toast. Because it is dark in the Force.
Okay. Well,
All right.
what's
All right.
funny
Anyway.
is, or I guess not funny, but like we've been noticing this, but in this episode, really hardcore. I don't know if anyone in chat noticed, like the super not Kylo Ren theme, but two different ones. This one
Well, it's
straight
because
up had.
it's Smilo Ren.
Oh right.
That's
Yeah.
what everyone on the internet has been calling him. I'm
Yeah.
realizing as I've been reading people that they called him Smilo Ren.
I do like it, but like we have a straight up.
Dude,
I think
right
like
in the
a
beginning is.
Yeah.
I caught that. That was wild.
But then also there is a Knights of Ren, like something that sounds very similar to the Knights of Ren theme from The Rise of Skywalker, and it's the like type of thing, and that's several
Where did
times.
you
in a
hear
row, too.
that?
Multiple times, but one of the times was, let's see, 2807 was the Kylo Ren aggressive theme. Okay, 1345. I'm pretty sure I heard like a Knights of Ren thing. Yeah.
I really liked the use of the theme at the very end of the episode, where we kind of had that like. I want to say it was a bassoon playing it. I'm just from memory kind of a thing, but at the very, very end, we had the theme come in when he's carrying his helmet and walking over to a passed out Osha. There's a really like a knocked out at the very end.
Oh, okay. Just want to hear the knock.
Yeah, the Acolyte big theme comes in there,
That was
and
the
also it
not
has like
Knights of
this
Ren.
other weird like. I don't know. They keep kind of digging into this like pseudo Middle Eastern pseudo Indian flair, kind of non-vaguely descript sounding.
Was it before?
Motifs?
Let me see. Was it like 2742?
It's at the very end. I
very-
distinctly like while he's
Very
carrying
end
his
of the-
helmet.
Yeah, 2742. Go
Okay.
there.
Yeah. It's after Basil's theme, which we know It's just called that because of the soundtrack.
What does that all mean, Basil?
Oh yeah, uneasy music playing, says the captions.
What if they say that in this show? They could. Anyway, sorry. That's an Austin Powers reference.
Again, that's Psalm of the Sith.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway.
Right?
Yeah, it's interesting how much those like. I mean, in villain themes, you're gonna exploit a lot of the same intervals and instruments like low brass. You know, we have that like Godzilla-like theme, which I think, you know, we were just talking about the Bad Batch and how there was that like super Godzilla-y theme. This one really has a Godzilla thing like throughout. But yeah, we have like stuff like half steps, and then we have like augmented seconds. And just kind of tritones, of course. Tons of tritones in this show. So many tritones just in the Acolyte theme
There's
alone.
a lot. It's very dissonant soundtrack for sure.
Yeah, they're really leaning into the horror vibes.
Oh, did
On
not
this
see a
one.
Cortosis helmet coming. That's a deep cut.
Yeah, right? Isn't that wild? So cool.
Yeah, so does that mean it seemed like, I mean, he wanted to keep his helmet on because he couldn't be mind read. So is that something that Cortosis can do? Does it repel force mind reading?
Oh, I don't know. The only thing I know about it is that it just disables lightsabers.
Right.
Oh, that's interesting. I don't think I've
It's from comics.
seen that.
It's like a Darth Vader comic or something like that.
Yeah,
And
I don't
it's,
think I've
and it's
seen that
recanon
before.
and it's recanonized. It was
Right.
in the Thrawn books, in fact.
Yep.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, seeing those lightsabers blast apart like that was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think that they I think all of the lightsaber choreography in this episode was some of the best that there's been.
Yo, actually, totally, Ender. I totally agree. I realize. Do you think it might be worth it for us to just like go around and say how we felt, like how we
Yeah.
felt about this episode, real quick? Just like a
Yeah.
good or
Yeah.
bad. I realize.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
that
go
might
first.
be. Dude, I'm just like psyched on this episode. Like I've been kind of roasting this show for the last like 2 episodes, and I'm like, oh, the show's good now. Just like I'm like today I was like, oh, okay, I like it now. Okay, dude, this episode is like so wildly awesome. Like, and the fight choreography, like you said, Ender, is just like, it's such a step up from like literally any choreography in any Star Wars Disney Plus show we've seen so far, in my opinion. Like even Ahsoka had some good choreography, but not nearly like this, in my opinion.
Yeah,
So
this was
I thought
wildly
go for it.
involved and like that they utilized people doing cool force powers and also the fact that lightsabers keep turning on and off. Like
right? Yes.
it adds so much more texture to the number of things that you can do. Because it would be
Right.
unreasonable for a Jedi to just turn off their lightsaber half the time and then have to punch people. But here,
Oh,
it justifies
yes.
punching people.
that's so true. And there, and like, and the hand-to-hand was super fucking. Oh, excuse me, we're gonna keep this clean because it's live. It was super awesome, super awesome.
Right, because if it wasn't
Never had
live,
to keep it clean, but okay.
Xanthe
did you-
personally edits all of our swear words every
Yeah,
stream.
just hand. Yeah,
Every single
it's
one
a
of
really
them.
good use of my time.
He also has a Cortosis bracer, by the way, because he
Oh,
backhands
okay, I
some
noticed
lightsabers
that.
too.
I noticed that. That was cool.
I
That
need
was
to get a better look at. Well, we haven't fulfilled. Okay, no, that's what I want to get a better look at. Like the way that their lightsabers ignite in this one place is so like dirty and crackly. Like reminds me of Kylo Ren's lightsaber.
Yeah, it's the post Cortosis, so that's shutting them off,
Oh, I see. Okay.
and then
like around
they
3.
won't turn on, and then
Oh, I see. Okay. And then I saw the crossbar looking thing.
Right.
or whatever. Okay. Anyway, you have to it's your turn to give your just overall opinion.
Oh, I thought that it was really, really good, and just incredibly hyped about everything going on in this episode, and I also want to rewatch it paired with the previous episode as if they were one episode, because both of them are relatively short, and also it feels like maybe they were in a former draft written as one episode, like that they realized that maybe they realized that this got away from them in terms of like how long the second half of this episode was looking on the page.
Right. Yeah.
You know? And so then they're like, well, maybe we just split it right down the middle. I don't know if that's actually what happened, but
I feel this. This does feel, in many ways, I kind of just wanted to watch this whole thing as one episode. Like, I almost wish this whole show was just 4 episodes that they released, maybe either all together or like just make us wait for 2 weeks. You know, like, you know. Okay. Oh, you can't do a poll. Okay.
I don't know how.
We want to poll all 10 people that are watching.
Yeah.
everybody just write your votes.
Yeah, just write your vote.
Out of 1 to 5, give us a 1 to 5 rating.
Well, and with the rating being your
5
order
being the
of,
most. Good.
No, just the order of episodes.
Oh, ranking. I see. Okay.
I thought you were against ranking.
I am. Well, okay. The reason I say that is because my scores are very like split. This, I thought it was compared to like all the other Star Wars live action shows that we've had, this was this was in the top half of them for sure. It was probably my least or second to least favorite of the series so far.
Really? Of course it was. Of course it was.
But I think I would have liked it better if it were just last episode and this episode, one continuous thing. Also, I will say that like I still continue to like the music in it. This show has the best music of any of the live action shows, I'd say.
Ender, just so you know, there was a point in time where I was talking to Xanthe and I was like, what if we did live reactions right after the episodes air? And they were like, no, I'm never going to do that.
Yeah.
And here we are.
Well, shout out to Ender for making our thumbnail and making this little like nice banner for us.
I know. Everything's so
Thanks,
legit.
Yeah. Okay, before we get to Justin, I just want to, like, what Nick is saying here is definitely, I agree with. Michael Abels is crushing it with this score. He speaks Star Wars so fluently. That's a really good way to put it.
I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Anyway. I'll just say a little bit more. Like, I think maybe streaming and maybe talking to everyone and speculating maybe, I don't want to say ruined it a little bit, but kind of ruined it. I think I wish I weren't already so fixated on Khmer. Like I wish that I almost saw this more in a vacuum, which is hard to do when you're doing reactions and streams and stuff. But yeah, I just wish I had more of the opportunity to be more surprised. Like I wish I didn't know that his voice was sped up, and it was actually confirmed that it was his voice. I wish I didn't know stuff like that. And yeah, I think it would have been slightly better. Because when I saw Rise of Skywalker, I didn't know about Rey Palpatine, and I was super surprised by it.
That's a good point. So we ruined it for you, is what you're trying to say.
No. I mean, there were a lot of great things to it that I did like poetic things related to Sith, darkness, and false prophets / false masters. Yeah.
Yeah. Hold on. I want to highlight another Nick thought here that he takes 1/100th of a point off for the purity of transitions in Star Wars, which is that
I agree
generally
with this.
wipes are passages of time.
I agree with this, and it's super jarring that the wipe is like, it's like the same wipe that we saw last episode and this episode like 50 times. Yeah.
I will say that this series uses the wipes the way that Filoni and Favreau use random like Clone Wars nods and characters and random like callback characters. You know what I mean? Like, it's a little egregious, I have to say, and this is like this show is like winking at us in its transitions. You know what I mean? Like
But the
that's its way of
transition
winking at
music
us.
was great. Transition music, very good.
I
Anyway,
found
Justin.
I found the transition of Osha and May right after May shot Soul to them being standing together on a mountain with like a mountain cutaway in between those two shots to be kind of weird. It was something weird about that sequence. It was like they shot Soul and then I'm assuming it wiped, but regardless, it went to like the wide shot of the mountain, and then it came back to where they were standing again, and then Osha going, "Why did you do that?" or something like that. I thought that was a weird transition. I don't know if anybody, if I rewatched it, I want to
get
figure
to
out like, what was
Justin's-
going on there. Okay. Anyway, so yeah, Justin, you're up.
Yeah.
Sorry.
How do I follow any of that? Y'all keep going. It's all good.
No, Justin.
Nope.
No,
wanna hear your
I'm gonna just
opinion,
rain on.
too.
No, I'm good. I'm just gonna rain on the parade. This was the best episode so far, and it actually got me interested in what was going on. But none of it has anything to do with any of the characters, and except for Kamir at this point, personally. But that's all I got on that front.
That was like a very that was a very high low.
I don't really want to nitpick it, kind of a thing. I'm not I don't feel like doing that. But the music, this one was definitely a lot stronger. It's building up, which is really, really great. I like Matthew Abels. Michael Abels. I really like his score. I think it's definitely one of the stronger of the live actions. I wouldn't say it was the best, personally, but I don't know if that's. I don't know. I haven't seen the whole show yet, kind of a thing. But I think it's not.
Yeah, how can you
as
beat those club jams from Andor? You know.
Right, and, of course, yeah, like all the.
You know, come on, guys.
And all those things. Yeah, I think the sound design is really interesting in the different ways that the Force is being used. I know we talked about that a lot last round, and I don't know, something was off about the lightsabers for me this one. The choreography, sure, was cool, but there was something about how they looked that maybe it was my TV. Maybe it was my TV kind of a thing, where it was, and my lights and my glasses and stuff like that, but they looked, yeah, I know it's post. I know it's visual effects, but these were like the least believable lightsabers as an effect to me. Kind of a thing.
Really?
I did like their kind of
I didn't know.
electricity, fiery rawness. I thought that was really interesting, but they felt maybe a little too neon glow stick. Which is funny to compare it to, because yeah, they are just essentially giant neon glow sticks, kind of a thing. But it felt a little too toxic neon in my mind for some reason, and maybe like in the coloring or something. It kind of like it brought me out of the world. I'm very much into like putting me into the world. I want to feel it. I want to smell it. I want to hear what it sounds like in there. And it just kind of took me out, despite the really interesting fighting styles, the really interesting hand-to-hand combat, and just the utter ruthlessness of this character finally unleashed.
Yeah, I was really happy to see how ruthless he was, to be honest with you, and that they didn't hold him back. You know.
Totally.
I think Kamir's,
yeah.
like, first of all, Kamir's got muscles. We've learned that now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It made me feel very
Kind of thing.
confusing things.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. Well, not very confusing, but yeah. But it's yeah. I think that's where I'm at with this. This has been my favorite one yet. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have
I feel
some.
like it just.
Oh,
gets to a really good spot and then swipes the wrong direction. For a
Justin,
moment.
there's a part. Sorry,
Yeah.
I keep not hearing. There's a part. What you said about it had nothing to do with the characters except for Kamir.
Yeah.
I don't know that I like 100% agree with that, but I do think that like ever since last episode, this is when it started for me. The number one thing that is kind of bothering me a little bit is that I am no longer sure of May and Osha's motivations and what they want. And I find that and so it actually makes it harder for me to care about their interactions now.
I want to agree with that. I feel like that's where I'm at with those characters at this point in the story of their journey.
Especially May.
I'm very confused about May.
I was
I'm
really
very
confused by her seeming change of heart last episode.
Yeah.
That was very jarring.
And then also right back and then not, but then back, but not. So
Well,
I mean, more to be revealed,
she's
of course.
back.
More to be revealed. I thought that the twin switcheroo is kind of where this episode lost me at that point. But that's just my preference in storytelling, I suppose. But that's okay. That's okay. That's why we have differing opinions.
Matt, echoing our comments. I said earlier that I think the two episodes would work better together, a slow build up.
I agree too. I would have loved to. I actually want to watch. These are actually the first episode I want to rewatch. I haven't rewatched any of the other episodes, so now I kind of want to go back and see the last episode through to this episode. I would find that really interesting.
So, I mean, I'm almost afraid to speculate because I don't want to ruin Xanthe's good time. But, I totally agree with Justin. I was blown away by the Star Wars-ness of this episode, I think. Like, to me, I felt very much like, it felt like Throne Room in Last Jedi for me. It was like, I was like, yo, but you know what's funny? I was just rooting for the Sith Lord the whole time. That's how you know that they didn't do a great job at like endearing you to the protagonist, at least for me, because I was waiting. I just was rooting for them all to die. Which was fun. I'm unapologetic about that. Sorry, y'all.
So you don't agree you don't agree with Matt's comment saying I give it 4.5 incredible action, but I feel too short. I expected all the red shirts to die, but not Yord and Jecki. I would have liked more time with those two characters before this episode.
Oh, good. Well, yeah, I guess that's what I'm saying. Like, I probably could have used more time or like more development or something that made me feel something a little bit more when they died. I didn't feel a lot.
It was unceremonious.
I had a lot of feelings about in terms of like Jecki showed up to fight in this, and she was awesome. She was
cool.
They were awesome. And I mean, honestly, Yord pulled it back. He turned not to be a Kiadi Mundi, and was like, you know what, I'm gonna go fight for what I know is right, and he did. And what a brutal way for Yord to go out. I'm sorry,
goodness.
Himbo.
Sorry, Himbo.
But okay. Anyway, all what I'm saying is I agree with Justin. I was very psyched on a Star Wars fan kid. Whoa, this is awesome. Oh my God, so exciting. But I don't feel any more strongly about any of the characters at all, at all. And I guess what I'm saying is I'm kind of okay with that because of how badass and awesome that was. Those lightsaber fights were. I'm very pew pew now on this show. You know?
No, and that's really interesting too because I did feel something with Yord and Jecki, but it was more surprise of oh, what? We just did that kind of a thing.
Yeah, we sacrificed them already, yeah.
Right, which
there's
at those moments really made the story compelling for me, as when you throw those surprises. I fully expected them to survive till the end, at least the last 2 episodes, maybe the second to last episode kind of a thing.
I think the fact that the season's only 8 episodes is hurts.
It's hard, yeah.
I would have liked more episodes with them before killing them.
Yeah. Just make the show look that would have just cost way more money, obviously, and it would have been awesome to see a really nice fleshing out of the Jedi universe right now and really get a good idea of who these characters are. You know what I mean?
They could have done that with this money, though.
I think so. I mean, part of
They
me
could
was
have
like,
done
okay.
that with this money.
No, I agree with you. I agree. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, who knows what's waiting for us in the next 3 episodes? Maybe maybe the next episode is entirely in Otagonga, and and like they had to CGI like every character, So who knows? Like what I mean? Like who knows where all that money went? We'll see.
It would be interesting to see like a flashback episode now of how Kamir and May met, and where we find these. It's the motivations. Yeah, I think is for me.
Or they're like
yet to be revealed.
Brad Pitt shows up next episode as a Jedi, and you're like, oh, that's where all the money went. That's why it's so expensive.
Okay. Carrie Ann Moss is going to appear for another 5 minutes, and that all will be explained.
Actually, I think I agree with Matthew here.
Want to read the comment?
I liked Jord because I feel like I've known a number of people very much like his personality.
Mm-hmm.
I just wanted time with him before he was killed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Like for me, it was okay from a storytelling perspective that I didn't get more time with those characters, because I felt like they used the time efficiently to where I think that I understood who Jord was and what his whole deal was, and what he cared about and why, and so the tragedy, I think, did strike me, and beyond just the
fact that he died.
Yeah, the fact that he died.
Yeah.
A Jedi killed without a weapon, except his weapons were his hands.
Yeah, I think that
count?
doesn't count. I think that doesn't
Do you
count.
have to stare? Like, do you have to kill them in a staring contest?
Or was it just neck broken?
He just broke his neck.
I think he just broke his neck.
Snapped his neck.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, that is pretty gnarly. I want to call attention to the music. Oh, okay.
Real quick, I saw a comment online, because you know how he triple stabbed Jecki?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And I saw somebody saying, "Oh, that he knows his genre. He knows that you can't stab somebody once in Star Wars because they're gonna live. You got to stab them 3 times."
Here's my theory that we're going to learn in a like visual guide, is that her species has 3 hearts, almost guaranteed, and so he's just, he knows.
Gotta get it.
He knew.
Right, and he's just being very, very accurate.
That's awesome.
That's very funny.
That's awesome.
I also liked that he had a lightsaber dagger. It didn't look long enough to be a Koto lightsaber like Ahsoka has.
Right.
I think it was actually a lightsaber dagger. And that's fun to me.
Okay, so I have 2 things regarding lightsabers. One, if we don't see Vernestra's lightsaber light whip in this series, I'm gonna be very disappointed. I need to see Vernestra's lightsaber, especially after this episode. I need to see it.
And if anybody knows,
don't mention. Yeah,
don't mention
don't spoil it. Let me be surprised. And number 2.
I forget we don't watch publicly information. But
yeah. Jecki, the point where she's fighting with 2 lightsabers. That's because she's using Kelnaka's lightsaber, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Right.
I wonder if I'm predicting that now some comic or something is going to come out where she explicitly trains on 2 lightsabers, because at least in Legends, or at least in the Darth Plagueis trilogy or the Darth Bane trilogy, it is a thing where I forgot which character it is, but it is a thing, a decision to make whether you want to fight with 1 or 2 lightsabers, because there are pros and cons. So it is a little bit quote unquote unbelievable. This is not a critique of the show. I think the style that I think what they chose to do with the lightsabers is fine. But I would say that probably someone not accustomed. Okay. I think every showrunner brings a different style to the lightsaber fights, and I think that's fine. But it is a little unbelievable that someone who didn't explicitly train on 2 lightsabers would be so good with 2 lightsabers.
Well, it's just you just press left on the D-pad on PS5, for Jedi Fallen Order, and you just switch to 2 lightsabers. So it's not
good.
that
Yeah.
difficult.
Okay.
It's not that
Yeah, Cal Kestis does single blade,
yeah.
one-handed,
Cross guard.
cross guard.
He's
yeah,
got
he can do any of them.
Yeah.
So like,
yeah.
Well,
it's not that
And
unbelievable.
it's just it's just D-pad. That's all it is.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for enlightening me.
You'll see. You'll see, Xanthe.
Okay. Yeah. James is referring to the fact that I have recently said that I will play Jedi Fallen Order for the first time and stream it, hopefully, and to talk about the music. But we'll see. Hi, Joseph. Okay, so let's talk about some music really quick, or not really quick. Several little choral parts, right? Not only in the main title. And first of all, I need to know if no one in the chat told me whether you recognized it and whether the lyrics being sung to the main title. There was that, and then there was like dramatic choral music at 5:15. I don't remember what was happening at 5:15. Why was there dramatic choral music?
I have to say, 5 minutes into an episode before the title sequence happens is pretty long. Don't you think?
Last episode, it was 6 minutes.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty interesting.
And then there was also like a brief stint of choral voices after May cuts off her hair.
That was the one that stood out to
and
me.
I feel like that was trying to be reminiscent of Brendock. I don't know what you thought.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so too. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think you're right. They totally do say Acolyte. I just listened to it. That's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah, the words to that.
Boba Fett!
Every show better do this from now on. We got to go back to Obi-Wan's theme and see if like John Williams snuck in a little Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
I mean, he did with Star Wars, right?
Yeah.
With Star Wars.
Luke
Oh,
Skywalker, Luke Skywalker. Yeah, of course.
And then another musical thing is the very obvious Godzilla inspired theme for, I guess, Khmer.
Yeah.
We hear it at
I think that's probably evil bubbling under the surface.
evil
I
lurking
think,
or whatever. Yeah.
I think that's the lurking evil theme.
Yeah.
I think it's Godzilla.
Yeah. Go ahead. You could ask the question, Joseph. So there was that. That was another like key thing, and then there were several familiar things from different episodes, including one that I haven't heard since episode 1, I think, which was after. Let's see. It was the death of Ace one. It was after Osha stops Soul, like when he's like about to attack Khmer. We hear the same. I'm pretty sure we hear the same type of thing. Maybe we should cue it up to replay it for ourselves. But I'm pretty sure we hear something similar to the music we hear when Osha summons Pip with the Force in episode 1. Sort of the like, something like that. Ooh, sorry, I think that was too close to my mic. But anyway, at least I think. I just remember what I think both of them sound like, which is the death of Ace from Grieg's Peer Gynt Suite. And then, let's see, a little bit of the Twin/Destiny theme, but only once. Like, we got that a lot
Was
in the
it
earlier
playing
episodes.
during their reunion? I felt like I went back and I couldn't. There wasn't a whole lot of music during that section. There was definitely atmosphere and some texture in the background, but there was like just the classic like now they're fighting and everything's dramatic kind of a thing, little shift and turn, but not the twin theme, or at least what we've been associating with it.
I'm pretty sure I heard it at 23:09-ish, but my timestamps are off because I was just trying my best to catch the timestamp. But I'm pretty sure I heard it during their reunion. But yeah, maybe I'm wrong. And for those who aren't sure what that is, it's like dee 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 dee. It might have been something different. I don't know. I'll have to go back.
Seems like it could be a variation on.
And then I also at 24:27 I heard something that in my notes I'm calling oscillating duality.
Oh yeah.
And I'll put it as transcription. Let's see. Where is it? Docile individuality. So I'll play it on the. So it's on strings, but it's like. Okay.
Whoa.
It's a little bit faster, but it's that like, you know, the strings kind of two different lines kind of, you know, going in kind of sometimes clashing, but I don't know. It's just, I heard that a lot in the first episode. And then I heard it again I think for the first time since that episode. And what was happening on screen? Don't remember. What timestamp did I say it was in my notes? 24:27. So that would have been, I guess, during the reunion too. Or something, or close, around that time. I think after, actually. No, before the hair cutoff. Sorry, before the hair cutoff. Because the hair cutoff is at 25:09. But anyway, yeah. So those are just some things I noticed. Also the Acolyte theme everywhere. There was like 4 notes. And there are lots of variations on those 4 notes. Does everyone kind of know, you know? Yeah, different versions of that. I feel like one of them sounds like, that we hear last episode in the Umber Moth attack, sounds like the raptor attack from Jurassic Park. It's... Sorry. And then there's like a thing happening, and I did hear similar things in this episode. Also, there was like an action ostinato thing that was also a recall from a previous episode where like the strings are getting like really spiky, like doo 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 doo.
A lot of good action.
Is anyone recalling
music
these?
in this.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
Okay.
it's so hard because it goes by so fast, and since we do these reactions after watching the episode, I don't have my usual time to marinate with it and recall the things. But yeah, there's like so much good action ostinato music.
Yes.
Especially during the
and great
lightsaber fight.
brass. I just noticed all the great brass stabs and swells. Really nice brass in this episode. Some French horn stuff that was going on in the fist fights, which was awesome. The fist fight between Soul and Darth Jason, Smilo Ren, was some really nice French horn stuff going on. Really cool. And yeah, I gotta say that I think this kind of reminds me. It's really funny. I got a call from my best friend on the East Coast while we were on this call, and I ignored his phone call and then just texted him the link to our stream, and he jumped in for about 2 seconds and realized he doesn't watch Star Wars, and I texted him. He's like, "Oh, I left. There's nothing for me there." But if you were talking about Planet of the Apes, I would talk all day. So his Star Wars is Planet of the Apes. And if you've listened to that score of the original Planet of the Apes, the entire score is atonal.
And very percussive.
It
Very
is.
percussive.
It's a weird score, isn't it?
Yep, there's no tonal music in that entire score. It's completely either atonal. There's some like 12-tone stuff going on there. It's very odd and very like it really makes you feel like you're on another planet, alien, and all these good things. And I got to be honest with you, I feel very similarly about the score to this show. I feel like there's not a whole lot of like real clear tonality all the time. It's very atonal and very like I said, very dissonant and very. It makes you, and in some ways, like it makes you feel like you're in a different time. It's like you're still in Star Wars because you still got this really John Williams-y orchestrated kind of approach to the score, but it still feels different enough to me that it feels like you're part of the spooky old days where secrets were aplenty and the Sith were in the shadows and all these things. You know, that's just like a gut feeling about the score, I would say.
Yeah.
And now as I'm going back and scrolling through these scenes, I'm like, wow, it really is very atonal. It's really interesting.
It's really calling out to like a lot of old 70s style horror film. I'm
a
a
lot
huge
of the
fan
textures and stuff. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm a huge fan of horror film music and stuff like that, especially from the 70s and the 80s. And it's really harkening back to that era of just a lot more atonal music in movies. I've noticed it was like the 60s and 70s, especially the 70s, had a lot more of that going into it. Maybe that was like that neoclassical revolution that was kind of happening within film scoring, where everything was really getting like extra romantic, as in like old school neo-romantic Western classical styles, and like really expressionist. So it's really harkening back to that. One part that really stood out that reminded me of like classic horror music is the Umbra moths. That you notice that they use that very like, I mean, at this point, it's a little bit of a film scoring trope.
The harmonic
but,
series, tea kettle sounds.
The like kind of like skiddly scattly. You hear a lot in
Yeah,
Indiana
it sounds
Jones
like
with the
it
spiders.
sounds like
You hear it
Colenio and a little bit of like pits. But it's like very...
it's a very classic horror movie spider bug, insect, webby kind of.
And
thing.
Colenio.
Do you have your violin with you?
I do.
All right, show us, Xanthe.
Well,
usually you do this with like a bunch of violins. So
because the thing is, you're not going to hear the effect of the one violin. The whole point is like you hear a bunch of them, like going like that. So together, it sounds scuttly.
You have like a couple of violins in your house, right? Like a viola or a violin.
You can play them all at once, right?
You can play them all at once, right?
Just loop yourself. Where's your looper?
I mean, I could. No, you're right. I could loop myself in the future, but still, the looper won't pick up the the acoustic nature of the wood and stuff.
Right.
But there's that, and there's also like, I don't know if they were actually using like harmonic series proper, but it did sound like some of the tea kettle sounds. It wasn't quite that, but like lots of wispy things for the umber moths. And then like a really creepy, clustery thing happening around, those cacophonous chords as the moths are attacking Khmer. It's like, I don't know, that's like at 2040, very horror-y. There was like lots of other good clusters of things. And there was good horror type stuff last. Yeah.
Got it. I thought they were like bats or something. Hey, you know what? I want to just mention I didn't realize I was going to be in this like little beautiful, cute little cropped thing that you put me in on the screen. It's very cute. But I thought you were going to be able to see the back of my studio today. So
okay. I'll show you.
Which is all. So those are actually all the Jedi that died in this episode. No, I'm just kidding. Those are these are all my drums that I've got fumigating right now because I have moths that got into my my hand drums because they have animal fur behind them, and so if you've ever had clothing moths in your house before, they affect djembes and hand drums. So
what is going on?
I don't know. I'm not doing that. Get out of here. Okay, so yes,
let's
you can see.
Oh my God.
The power
I got
of
them all
is
backed
all
up.
James. We are all James. James is all of us.
James,
I was laughing. I was laughing because it really does look like I've got a bunch of like remains in these bags behind me.
Oh man.
If you've watched these streams, I usually have a bunch of hand drums behind me. Now they're all in bags. So, but yeah, they're all. Speaking of moths, so now that I know that they're moths, I'm even more like freaked out by them because I've been fighting moths this week is what I've been doing. So
sometimes if you haven't if you play a string instrument and you haven't opened your case in a while, you might find that your bow, like the hair of your bow is just completely split at some point. So there's just hair, and it's because moths get in your case, or really the eggs get in your case.
Ugh.
So you have to make sure to open your case every now and then to
This is why Justin plays synthesizers.
because nothing goes inside of those at all.
Yeah,
That's true,
Yeah.
right? Don't like ants like sometimes get in those things, and like
Oh, all
short
sorts of
the
things try
circuits
to
and
get through the fan vents because it's nice and warm.
stuff?
For that
wow,
analog
that's
warmth,
nuts.
and then you open it up and you go, "Oh,
Ugh.
interesting."
Okay, we
Shall
gotta
we-
need Xanthe to keep us give us a soundtrack to this gross discussion we're having right now. So,
Do you want to? Should we look at some comments?
Yeah,
You
looks
guys
like
have
there's
a
a lot
lot
of
piled
good
up.
questions in the. So there's.
Yeah, and I have some other ones from earlier in the chat that we'll get to. Okay, so Joseph's question is, who trained Kamir? Kamir says Master collects people, which means him as well. Kamir said he knew Osha was alive before May told him. Who told him? Kamir is not the master, so who is the master? And then we have, I guess I'm continuing to read.
Well, do we want to talk about these questions, or do we want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
We could talk about them. I mean,
Yeah.
But there's a
think it's-
comment right after that
Oh,
that is about the kind of the same idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's probably the Sith, whoever is the primary Sith Lord in the lineage of Rule of Two right now, in the Sith canon. I don't know what's canon, and I don't even know if even the Legends lineage ever specified what years any of these Sith were active. I know that what do you call it? Darth Plagueis was at least alive during 65 BBY, and I believe this show is at 132 BBY. Is that right? Something like that. So, because we're 100 years before the Phantom Menace, right? Which would have been 32 BBY, right? Isn't
Right.
well, I think this might be a
Right.
good time to bring up then Rick's comment that I just lost. Okay, I'll bring
right?
it back up.
The Acolyte
Which was
apprentice, right?
which was okay, the Sith might be very rule bound, but a dark Jedi could call himself a Sith if that suits his own ends or conception. So like, I think I think we need to take that term really lightly. There's an inherent contradiction in arch selfless being hidebound. Sorry,
You think so?
Self-
selfish being hidebound by tradition.
I don't know, man.
But anyway,
I think it's Sith with a capital S, if you ask me. But
But
maybe
either
that's just-
way, Sith are known to have other people waiting in the wings. Like rule of two, but there's usually another person. There's
Right.
usually at least one other person being trained at the same time too, which is why Darth Maul was not really. Palpatine never considered Darth Maul like his apprentice. He was just like someone he was training who was like B tier, B, C tier. And Maul didn't, yeah, it is, I mean, according to legends, but like, yeah. And then he ends up finding out that he wasn't the main person, and it kind of is part of his, it's part of his comebacks. It's part of his story.
You're my main person, Maul. You're my main person.
But like at some
Clearly
point,
a big
Dooku
Darth Maul fan.
thought that he was Palpatine's main person too. So
That's true. I can't believe that George Lucas named a character Count Dooku. But anyway,
Also named
but
the genre
Darth
of music
Icky, right?
Jizz, but
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So I mean, okay, if you ask me, my big speculating brain, or at least what I want, like I want Smilo Ren to be the current apprentice of whoever is like either Plagueis's master or Plagueis's master's master. Like that's who I want to be his master. Like I want it to be the capital S like Sith that ultimately leads us to Palpatine. That's who I want it to be. Now is
you
it
not
that
think
in this
it's-
show?
do you not straight up think it's obvious, or do you not think it's Mother Coral?
I mean, I think that's definitely where the show could go, but that could be. I don't know if Mother Coral is a Sith. I mean, I guess maybe she is. Maybe she is.
It also doesn't matter. She might be, but also.
I know. I'm just saying what I want it to be. Like I want
Oh,
it to
okay,
be
okay.
like I want this show to be like referencing Darth Plagueis and the Sith hiding behind the shadows that bring us into the main saga. Like that's what I want it to be referencing. I don't want it to be an offshoot. I don't want it to be some Darksider that's randomly out there doing dark side stuff. Like that's not what I want.
You don't-
So then in the
don't-
Phantom Menace, do you want the Jedi to just be do you think the historical record was like expunged after this, or do you think in the Phantom
I think we're
Menace?
gonna like
Okay.
Soul's gonna die. I think like maybe even Ocean May are gonna die. I think everyone's gonna die, and therefore the Jedi
And Yoda will never
either-
know about this, and he won't remember that there were, or you know what I mean, like in the Phantom.
Well,
I mean, I think
so far they have not brought it before the Jedi Council, because if they bring it
Right.
before the Jedi Council, then they will have to report it to the Senate.
right.
And I guess
Is it their
Fair.
own fault that they never learned that there were Sith? You know,
That could.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that's what I
can
think.
get behind that.
That's what I think. And a lot of people apparently were complaining this entire week about Ki-Adi-Mundi being in there because it breaks canon about the whole Sith thing. It's like, guys, I think the reason why he was even in the show is to reference what ends up happening, which is the Jedi never end up finding about this at large, and that's why he's in the show, because he is the guy that made that comment in the Phantom Menace about them being extinct. Like, that's the point, right? Like, you know what I mean?
I guess, but yeah.
Okay, what do you all think of this? Also, Kamir said to Soul that they had seen each other before. Was Kamir at the Witch's Coven?
I
Well,
feel like
I
that
think-
might be an interesting reveal. Yeah.
Well,
like-
I actually jumped in on this in the chat, but he might just be talking about when he met him like 3 days before
That's what I was
at
thinking.
the shop.
Yeah.
At the shop.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
Justin, wouldn't that be more interesting if he was somehow there?
There was a hidden child. There was a third child this entire time.
Yeah, true, Joseph.
the third twin.
The third twin.
The third twin. That's right. I
Oh,
mean, I like how they
interesting.
literally went Parent Trap on us
I
and
know.
switched it this time.
Yeah.
They literally went like, let's switch places.
Yes, we'll see how quickly Soul realizes. Yeah, back on this topic, the Acolyte title sounds like no one person is saying Acolyte, but that different parts of the choir are singing different parts of the word. I'll have to go back and re-listen later, but that would be really funny if so.
Well, that's the thing. You can't really hear it, you know. Like if a bunch of people are all singing at different times, you can't really. That's really the power of many, you know. So
If they go back to classic horror, I'd like the Hammer film music. That was very enjoyable. The Acolyte music isn't really dark. It's kind of odd for trying to do a horror tone. Interesting.
I think it's very natural for
For it to do a
for
horror
it
tone.
to do a horror tone, and
Yeah, I do too. Because like Bad Batch also did horror tone when there were creatures and stuff.
It tonally shifts a lot. I mean, if you go like
Yeah.
even look at like classic horror movies like The Poltergeist, which is like a pretty big famous movie in that genre, that score is like all over the place. It gets horror, but it also gets like very pretty, like confusingly pretty. Sometimes you're just like, what are we watching? Yeah, it definitely this score shifts a lot. But I feel like it is doing the horror tone very well.
I think
Yeah.
so.
Okay. Who else could be who else could qualify as an acolyte in Star Wars? The example talked about was Asajj Ventress, who could be considered an
Right.
acolyte, as she was the apprentice's apprentice.
Yep.
Yep.
And what's his name? Savage
Savage
Opress, which is another fantastic naming of of
Of a
characters.
character.
Anyway,
and
Savage
Star-
Opress would be Maul's
and
Maul's acolyte, right?
Star Killer Force Unleashed
That's true, right?
is also an acolyte, right? Because that's Vader's apprentice.
Yeah, I guess
Vader's
maybe
secret apprentice.
literally all of the what do you call it? The in
Inquisitors.
canon.
I
Oh,
think
yeah.
I think the Inquisitors
Or
is
is there a different thing?
yeah. That's a way to sidestep it.
Also, the Sith, also the Army of Darkness or whatever in Legends, in like there's like a whole Sith army of like people who train to be dark side Force users. I can't remember exactly which books, but like I think it's actually in like the Bane trilogy. Yeah, like they're kind of they don't make the cut to be like better, but they are bodies for kind of like a Knights of Ren type of thing.
yeah, that makes sense.
now,
yeah, I mean, yeah. Go ahead.
Here's an interesting one. Was Kylo Ren technically an acolyte?
All right, because like technically Snoke was like some weird clone of Palpatine. Is that what you mean?
I don't know.
Yeah, there would have to be someone else.
Wasn't like Snoke actually Palpatine?
They're all acolytes.
I have been every voice Inside your head. I remember when I heard that on the trailer, I got very excited.
Oh.
I remember those days when I was excited for that movie. Anyway,
I think Sol will survive, but then he will try to cover up what happened. That would be juicy. I mean, here's another thing. It's like, I've accepted my darkness. What have you done with yours? Like hinting, oh man, Sol might have darkness or whatever. And I feel like that I admit that I don't feel the weight of that yet. Because I think it's fine and natural to have a little bit of darkness.
So I think I'm going to propose that next episode we won't necessarily get to follow up with Basil and the tattoo, because if the show's entire structure is a chiasmus at the center of which the twins swap places, then the next episode has to be a flashback from a different perspective.
We got to
that
get
would
back
be
into
very
the
Leslie
power of
Headland to do that.
our dualities, right? So we can
Yeah.
do maybe what was episode 3 called?
Destiny.
Destiny. So maybe this one will be that, so
Fate.
that we can get back
Originy.
into the one after another.
Origin.
Origin.
Originy.
I've long advocated for Originy as the opposite
Originy.
of Destiny.
There was a character that said, I remember. How did someone remember if they weren't there? From episode 2. I think this is a huge tell to who the master is.
What is he referring to? What character said, I remember, and when?
Let me think. Let me look at the transcript. But maybe I don't want a spoiler on the thing. But it's just
You're so funny.
I
You're like
don't see it,
running.
actually.
You're running a live YouTube reaction video, like live chat. You're like, maybe I gotta save myself from spoilers.
Do you remember me, Master Torben? That's all I see.
In those words.
Yeah. But anyway, he was Master Torben. No, okay. There are several more comments that I want to highlight. The Sith have been hiding to survive for many years now after almost being hunted to extinction. I can understand why they might be announcing who they are. Might not be announcing who they are until they're ready. Oh, yeah, maybe he's only announcing it to Sol because he's planning on killing him. Good one, James. As the guy on my shirt eventually says, at last we will reveal ourselves to the Jedi. At last we will have our revenge. That's true.
Right? And that made it clear that Sith were not trying to come out of hiding just yet, right?
Yeah. And also Nick tears, but also plus 100 points for them doing a frame skip on the front of each wipe and iris to mimic the optical printing process.
Oh, that's
On
interesting.
the subject
That's
of
some
wipes.
very, very nerdy.
It's a very niche comment
That is.
that I do appreciate. It's pretty funny. I felt May's turn worked better on rewatching the last episode. All the questions she asks after landing sounds like she is doubting her decision but doesn't want to reveal her feelings to Kamir. That's fair. I mean, she is. She seems disdainful of Kamir until before she knows who he is. But
Yeah, well, I think so. Here's my perspective on that, because I think that a lot of people felt like her about facing is confusing or disconnects you from her, and I haven't experienced that precisely. For me, the combination of her initially doing the turn where she's like, I'm going to turn myself in and end this whole thing, combined with where she is now, where it seems like maybe she's not doing that, I think she's opportunistically looking for a way out, and she has now, like, the reason that she has to go, like, the reason that she's disguising herself as Osha may not be because she's going to sneak up and stab Sol in the back, but because she is getting away from Khmer. And this is the easiest, because now he knows that she was going to betray him, so now she has to get very gone.
Can I give a little counter to that in a theory, a speculation?
Yes.
Here's what I think. Okay. I think that May, and I'm actually not even kidding, actually. I know sometimes I do these weird theories just because it's fun. But I actually think May knew. May knew it was him. And that's why she said that thing to him to make him reveal himself. Because she literally, and because it came out as so sudden. Like like the fact that it is unnatural was probably on purpose, because she was probably literally saying it to him to let him know, I'm about to blow your whole plan. And what did he do? He took the bait and revealed himself and killed all the Jedi for her, right? And
he did take the
set
bait
her
really easily.
Yeah, and what did she do? What did she do right before she told that to him? Literally trapped him on a rope, right? Which, by the way, Ender, I went and looked that up online, and it turns out, yeah, it's just a rope, huh? It's crazy. It's crazy. You just tie down a tree and put it on the.
Yeah, it is just a rope. Yes.
It's wild how that works. It's crazy. Yeah, pretty amazing. Anyway, but it also, I have to say, pretty difficult to set up regardless, and I'm a little.
But
doubtful
she has the Force. She has the Force.
Oh, okay.
She bent.
Okay.
That's the only way. But yes,
down.
The speed with which she did it would be hard without the Force. So I'm gonna say it's the
Agreed,
Force.
because she literally had to pull the tree down. Okay. Anyway, so I think she's going to reveal. I knew it was you. I baited you. You killed all the Jedi for me, and now I'm here. Now I literally got to ride back to Coruscant with all the Jedi gone, and to do whatever she's up to do next. I don't know what she's up to do. I don't know where it goes from there, but I have a feeling, because even like Darth Jason said in this episode today, he said, "You really couldn't tell it was me." Like, he said that
Yeah,
to her.
like he felt like it was obvious.
And
Or
that's
at least,
like,
or he's poking her.
yeah, but I almost feel like she's like, she didn't want to say anything because she didn't want to blow her cover, that she caused all this to happen. Because she just wanted to get to Osha. She just wanted to get, you know what I mean? So
I mean, in a way, it's what she did on Brendock with the fire.
Right?
Causing
Just
a whole bunch of destruction, but she wants to
Chaos.
be her sister, I guess.
So I kind of feel like it was her idea. Yeah, and that's why it feels so weird, because we're like, what? She's all of a sudden just gonna blow her whole plan, and so I think she's got something else.
Is this her taking credit for killing the Jedi without a weapon? She didn't use a weapon. She just
Yeah, I just let somebody else.
But she convinced somebody to
Yeah.
do it. She got somebody to do it.
I didn't use
for her.
my weapon.
I didn't use a weapon. You did.
Right? Which is
It was
kind of
me
what
all
OSHA,
along.
Which is what OSHA ends up doing with the flashlight and the bugs, basically.
Yes.
I'm not gonna. Instead of, just lets the bugs kill them. So.
Yeah, I think there are a few different thematic reads on the using the flashlight. By the way, because Khmer said that everyone has their weakness, and one reading of that might be that he was referring to the Master or himself, or the Master even, like somebody beyond him. And but it is interesting to see then what OSHA did is literally attach a bright light to this dark master, right?
Mm-hmm.
Ah.
The literally shining a light on him is the weakness that he has.
Yeah.
Is one potential read of it. It may
sure.
not be the read, but
I'm into that. I
Yeah.
like that. I have to say that I don't know what's different about that particular light other than the giant glowing laser sticks that they've been flinging around for the last 30
Well,
minutes.
it's just about how far it casts light. The lightsabers
Okay.
don't cast a
That's-
cone of light up into the trees.
That's right.
Totally.
This kind of reminds me of the
It was.
discussion that
It
Justin
went
had-
after the lightsaber in the other episode, but not this one.
Right.
Not the many.
Justin,
the many out there.
yeah, that's true, right? Yeah,
The
yeah.
last one I
Justin-
did, but not this one. Not this
Justin,
one.
remember when we were watching Bad Batch and you brought up the very good point, like how do speeders work? Like remember because
Yeah.
it was like
What are
one
the
episode
laws
of Bad
of
Batch
speeder
where
bikes? Yes.
some of them fly up in the air, like on a speeder bike, and some of them go across. Like, do you just like go like this, boom, and go up? You know, it's kind of like one of those things.
Yeah.
It's kind of like
Well,
Harrison
it's
Ford.
also-
Hey kid, if they're looking at your hair, we're all in very big trouble, right?
Yeah. Well, it's also lightsabers. How much radiant heat do they give off? Because sometimes Qui-Gon's stabbing through a door and the metal all around his lightsaber is melting to pieces, and other times you can surgically stab people very, very, and it does not ignite all of their clothes on fire in the process.
And you
know,
you
who
can
knows?
just you can stab a lightsaber right through someone's stomach and they're up and walking the next day. But if it's
That's true.
underwater, maybe it'll work. Depends on who's holding the lightsaber.
Might have been a Kelnaka booby trap, says Nick.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
So the rope trap might have been Kelnaka's.
Yeah.
That's I guess that would make sense actually. Okay, so
Yeah.
what was Joseph talking about with Vernestra? Vernestra was saying I remember
Oh,
something.
was the one that said I remember something? I don't remember.
She heard something about the incident with on Brendock
Oh,
previously.
Yeah.
Is Brendock the witch
The,
coven
the,
place?
the,
Yeah.
the Witch Coven planet.
Yeah.
So is he implying that Vernestra Rowe is the Sith Lord?
Anything's possible.
I don't think.
I think he's implying that Vernestra Rowe is Darth Maul.
Okay. Thanks for
Has
clarifying.
been all along.
I think May knows what the four Jedi did to the witches. That once Sol realizes that he is with May, that he won't go back to the Jedi Orders. He doesn't want May to tell people what happened.
Yeah.
Also,
I think
he
she thinks
feels
she knows.
Bad.
I think I feel like I'm hoping for. I don't think, but I'm hoping for one more extra layer to this mystery.
I think there is.
Of what happened to the witches. It's not just what May understands it to be. It's not just what Osha thinks it was. It wasn't just what was kind of revealed. Like, I feel there's got to be one more really interesting layer to this. I mean, we're assuming NSA is dead, but we did the classic seeing her body from behind her head on the ground, but not actually
Yeah.
seeing her kind of thing that
And
these
then
shows will
Osha
do to
blacks
kind of be
out.
like, oh,
So she
right, you know, we didn't
she-
actually see her dead. We just implied that she could
And then
possibly
she has
kind
to
of
get
a
to the
thing.
information from Sol.
Right.
She can't
So
verify.
that's why I
verify
feel
this.
like it's one of the mothers did something, and I'm
Mothers of
leaning on
invention.
Coral, but that's probably just hopeful theorizing at this point.
I have one more movie thing to point out, like filmmaking thing. I mentioned during Destiny that I was like, are they showing off these twins hugging?
Right.
But the thing is,
Yeah,
in
I
this
thought of you
episode-
when they did
in
that.
this
I was
episode,
like,
they
they did
the
it.
camera
Yeah.
went around and showed each of their faces while
Yeah.
they continued
Yeah.
hugging, and it's like, yeah, that would be hard to do, huh?
Yeah.
Well, once
You-
you,
you
That
have
would
to-
be hard to do. I feel like it's a lot
Sorry,
easier
y'all.
these days, but yeah.
Sorry, Disney. Sorry to burst your bubble, but once you're like literally putting 1983 Mark Hamill's face on an actor in one of your previous shows, I'm not like impressed that you can make twins work from the same actor. I'm sorry. I'm
I was gonna say,
sorry.
it's probably a lot
Disney.
easier now, but yeah, when they did that, I definitely thought of you, Ender. I was like, those bastards, they did it.
But it's a requirement. It's a requirement to sell the
it's gotta
twin
be.
trick.
Sal the twin trick. I mean, that being said, I gotta say I wasn't as convinced by the acting with oneself in that
yeah.
scene. It didn't seem like it was two characters having a conversation with each other. It felt like those things were either recorded separately somehow, or I don't know. It didn't feel natural somehow. I don't know why, but Do you agree, Xanthe?
A little bit. I think I don't know if it's like if it was an editing thing though. I mean,
It
I
might have
don't know
been
how they
editing,
filmed
right?
it, but I
That's
would have
true.
guessed. I mean, yeah, because I'm guessing like that she was reacting to someone saying the lines, and you know,
Right.
either off camera or I don't know.
But obviously,
My-
she's not reacting to herself saying the lines, right? So there's like a
Right.
My feeling was that part of the issue is the blocking and framing of that scene, because they're very far apart while they're having that
And I
conversation.
think that contributes to it for me.
Which
Is there like very like one's here, one's there.
and it's a very long conversation, and I think what they needed was more like Luke talking to Luke talking to Kylo in The Last Jedi, when they're also very far apart and having a conversation, but instead of over the shoulder shots going back and forth, we do close-ups and we do very wide shots to show the physical distance between them.
Yeah. Also, in The Last Jedi, Rey and Kylo have effective conversations from very far apart.
Yeah,
not
I
just
would
the-
agree. That's a good way to point that out, Ender. If it was closer, but to show the larger shots, that would have been a lot more effective.
But I
The
think that they
acting on
were
that
afraid
scene, on
of
the
getting.
scene, yeah, it wasn't my favorite either. And maybe it had something to do with the editing or the direction or all of the above. But also, yeah, now recalling from an earlier conversation, the transition into the scene was a little awkward too. I think it was just the suddenness of it becoming day. So I think we just didn't. I wasn't keeping like track of time in this whole, like, it was a very quick night. I feel like it just became nighttime, and then it was morning. But I mean, I don't know what the sun cycle on this planet is. So like,
I think the implication has to be that the lightsaber duel was much longer than, or the lightsaber battle, I guess,
right,
was
was
much
a lot
longer than.
But that would have been like, I mean, again, assuming this planet has somewhat similar rotations of the sun, kind of a thing, that would have been hours. Like, that's a good battle. But
This
I would
happened
have.
last episode too,
wish I would've seen.
where last episode it happened also where May discovers Kelnaka. I think that's no.
It like
I can't remember
immediately
the
became
order.
dark. Yeah, it
And
was
then
very
it immediately
quick.
becomes dark. And
So
I,
maybe it's a very quick. Maybe it's a very quick day to night cycle on that planet.
actually the way that I interpreted that was that the Khmer was there and made it like kind of.
I kind of felt that
more of
too.
a-
Yeah,
yeah.
but you know, Kofar. Let's see.
May was like, Alexa, lights at 10%. Oh, good, we didn't trigger it. Yeah, that's funny. That's a good one. Also, this is related to some other things that Matthew's been saying. I was saying on Discord. By the way, if people want to join my Discord server, just become a patron at any level. Link is in the chat, is in the description of this video or whatever. But anyway, okay. I was saying on Discord that I think he wants to kill a Jedi without a weapon by destroying Soul's reputation and getting Soul kicked out of the Jedi Order. And I remember what you were saying on Discord this morning, Matthew, and I thought it was an interesting idea. I don't know, would you mind? Do you mind if I read your whole comment? Actually, okay. I'm gonna read the comment, which is, oh, it's a long comment. Okay. I don't think this riddle means little. Okay. I think the answer is that you destroy the Jedi's reputation and get them kicked out of the Jedi Order so that they are no longer a Jedi. An example would be like what Barriss Offee did to Ahsoka Tano. Only Ahsoka was falsely framed for something she didn't do, while these 4 Jedi obviously did something horrible and are covering it over. I think May's master wants her to bring what happened in the Witch's Coven to the attention of the Jedi Order and in turn the Republic Senate. If news gets out to the general public that 4 Jedi killed a larger number of people in a community in order to get a Jedi recruit, it would hurt the whole Jedi Order, as parents in communities whose kids are Force sensitive wouldn't want to report it, which could potentially really hurt the Jedi Order from the inside and cause their numbers to decline. I think this is what May's master means when they say they want to kill the dream, which I had forgotten, but I really had liked that part at the end of episode 1. A dream that everyone shares. I think they are talking about the dream of the Jedi Order protecting the galaxy, and that when someone is Force sensitive, that they join the Jedi Order. So like the specifics of that, like the broad strokes of that, destroying the Jedi Order from the inside, targeting reputations, stuff like that. I really like that train of thought.
I have to say, if that's the case, the show could have done a lot better job at showing the outside galaxy's opinion of the Jedi, like showing us some people that are like looking up to the Jedi, kids that want to be Jedi, things like that. I mean, obviously we got to see that Osha wants to be a Jedi. I mean, jury's out on exactly how she even found out about the Jedi before then, you know, considering that they lived a seemingly pretty isolated life in that coven.
Well,
but,
up on top of the mountain, secret coven. Down at the base of the mountain, village full of other people. Outside of that,
It's fine. I'm changing the camera battery. Just keep talking.
Did Kalnaka just die at your house?
he's here.
Smilo is here.
Smile
Run.
Ren. Okay. Yeah, I guess it would have been great to see that kind of thing, right? Like it would have been if I wanted to, even just from Osha's standpoint, if I really wanted to buy that Osha wanted to be a Jedi, it would have been cool to like see a scene of her like spying down on this village and seeing a Jedi be heroic and being like, "Whoa, that's awesome," you know, so that I can buy that. Like I didn't get enough.
Well, maybe you'll get it next week when they do another flashback.
I know, but I guess at this point, it might have been nice to get that already, you know, to get, especially if we're thinking about the Jedi's reputation in the galaxy, it would have been cool to see their reputation, right? So.
And I think the High Republic books do a good job of that, actually.
Right, but you know, obviously.
But yeah,
you
I
wanna
mean,
tell that story.
I don't think
here,
the
right?
series, because this series definitely doesn't require reading the books.
It shouldn't. It shouldn't. If it's a good
yeah.
series, it shouldn't. Right. Yeah.
Agreed.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
at the same time, you know, the Jedi are like, there's a little bit of a meta with the Jedi, which is like they're already a big deal to the people watching the show. So in some ways, they've already done the heavy lifting by just. You can take it for granted that the audience thinks the Jedi are all that in a bag of chips, you know. But you like that? When was the last time you heard that one? Probably like 1996.
Probably
right?
last week, and it was probably you.
No, that would have been all that and 2 bags of Oreos.
Oreos. Yeah.
Those Oreos were freakishly good.
They were good.
Filled with the dark side.
Kyber.
Anyway, so
Anyway.
I guess just having a little bit more like outside, like because they've mentioned like our public opinion, but it's like I want to see the public. Can you show me something other than just these Jedi? And these the main characters of the show. Show me like more. You know.
Yeah, like seeing some of the Senate or seeing some of the, the politics would.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, I would like it. I would like to have a bigger scope. Because also
Andor
another
does
thing
a great
was like,
job of that.
yeah, I was just thinking that. Because like another thing about these episodes is like, so much of it was on this forest planet,
Right.
which was fine. But like, I think I would have liked a little bit more variety.
Yeah.
It's fine, but yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, like zip, zap, zow, and like bsh, 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 right? Fights, right? Which was awesome today. So
Yeah.
you
I
know.
liked that Khmer had like a lot of one-handed stabbing
Yeah.
motions
Yes.
that I feel like we haven't seen a lot of lightsaber wielders do.
That's interesting because I felt it was reminding me of Palpatine's style a little bit, and it was
But
reminding me a little bit
Palpatine
of
keeps it a
Kylo.
lot close here.
He does. You're right. He absolutely does. But he's very stabby and very like pointed
Right.
at the person, and Kylo is very one-handed, and he's very
Right.
like power hit is his kind of a thing. It's less skill and more strength. I feel like was
Right.
always Kylo's thing, but also very
But
one-handed in a way.
Khmer seems even less disciplined than Kylo. Like,
Oh, really?
I mean,
Oh,
I don't, like not necessarily like more maybe more carefree because like Palpatine keeps his lightsaber really close, and I feel like that's a very self-protective way of holding it. And Kamir's like, psh, like, okay, not an actual.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that is like, that's also his stated gimmick. You know, that's his stated like.
He doesn't follow the rules of
self-conception.
combat.
Right,
can't
well,
predict
and
him.
his stated self-conception
really
is
chill.
like that he just wants to do his own thing.
He just wants to
that
be
he wants-
himself.
yeah.
He just wants to chill, bruh. He just wants to live in his
Let Kamir be free.
California
So
Leave
then,
him
so then he does his
alone.
little, you know, like force throwing people with just kind of a lazy hand, just like whatever.
Yeah,
know?
because like his revealed self is very like his potions person self. Like it's not like he switches. It's not like the Senator
Doesn't code
Palpatine
switch.
to like. It's not like Palpatine to Sidious as much. Where like his whole vibe changes. No, actually, Kamir, like what you see is what you get. It's just like a different manifestation of it. The way Kamir was messing up people's lightsaber felt very underhanded, which works for a Sith, but as mentioned, we haven't seen before.
Yeah, and I think the description of him not following the rules of combat and like that it's impossible to like predict what he's doing feels very drunken master sort of vibe,
Yeah.
which I
Yeah,
think suits
literally.
From
Kamir.
him. Yeah, definitely.
Literally,
Right,
wasn't he like
right.
literally on drugs in his potions? Like wasn't he? Wasn't he?
I
was,
think
right?
I think he wanted everybody to think that. I don't know if he was, but maybe.
Yeah.
I think maybe.
I feel like there was something explicit where he was like, "I gotta take some drugs" or something. Where he said, "No, he like said something about taking."
I'll search
drugs,
the
didn't
transcript
he?
for drugs.
No. He was sampling the wares at the apothecary.
Oh, the
There you
clothes.
go.
I thought it was the clothing.
No, it was also that all the bottles were empty and he
Does
had a
that
cup
make-
on the.
Oh, okay. I didn't get the joke. I thought she was saying like you don't have to
does that-
sample. I thought it was the
Does
clothing.
that make the spice creams from episode 3 like edibles for Star Wars? Right? Isn't spice like this like famous like drug throughout
Yeah, that's
all of
true.
Star Wars
Oh,
galaxy?
that's true.
I get where they
I
were going. Obviously, they
didn't
weren't
even think of that.
doing that, but it's
I
just
like
it
that
was a very
idea.
interesting like. Oh right, that also.
But I
is a-
also
that
want
was-
spicy ice cream.
By the
yeah,
way,
spiced curry ice cream. Yeah, that tastes great.
guys, I
but-
just want to say this before we do a whole season on this, and I don't mention there's like a bunch of cool like West African talking drums in episode 2. I just went back to watch that scene, and I totally didn't even catch that when we got watched it. Now I got headphones on. There's like a bunch of like actual like under the arm, like you would recognize it if you ever saw Black Panther. There's a bunch of that, but there's like a bunch of that in the soundtrack. Just want to go ahead and say that because I
Cool.
was looking to see when he talks about doing drugs. But actually, if you've read Light of the Jedi, which is the only one that I've it's just the only it's one of two High Republic books that I finished. So the other one was Vernestra's first book,
A test of courage.
Test of Courage, right? Which I gotta be honest with you, is like it's a bad name for that book. It should be more specific to the story. Anyway,
I agree. It doesn't do. Yeah, no, I agree.
what?
It's a good story.
It's a good story. It should have a better name than A Test of Courage. What? Okay, anyway. So Light of the Jedi, which is an awesome book, by the way. Even if you don't plan on reading any of the rest of the High Republic, it's a great one to read.
I think
You're
you
not a
start
big
with.
fan,
I think start with Test of. I like Test of Courage better.
Yeah. Well, anyway, in Light of the Jedi, there are some very like explicit scenes of the Nihil like just straight up like snorting spice
Yeah.
and like just
Listening to
tripping
punk.
out on drugs. Like it felt like I was remember that book Go Ask Alice that we were all supposed to read in middle school to keep us off drugs. Did you guys ever read that book?
No, I did
No.
not.
And oh my
Go
god.
ask Alice.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was like a fake journal entry from a teen that gets into all these drugs and she's this anonymous person. And I think I don't know if it was ever presented like it was true, but we certainly all thought it was like an actual journal that they had found. But it was just this made-up story by this author that would just wanted to basically tell kids about the horrors of drugs, you know?
Oh, I would feel so betrayed when I found out.
Right? But yeah, man. So anyway, it feels like a scene from that book. It's like very like hilariously Star Wars. It's like an explicit description of Star Wars characters getting loaded on and snorting spice, which I just thought was pretty interesting, if you ask me.
I remember when I had my first beer. Were you reading
Right.
Don't Ask? Were you reading Go Ask Alice?
Yeah.
You had one more marked.
Oh yeah, he's not here anymore. But
Oh, that's right.
yeah, Joseph had asked accomplished musicians, do you guys play in an orchestra?
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Sometimes I'm gonna be playing in an orchestra next month.
Nice.
Should be fun. So a bunch of Persian music. So
Cool.
I am not an accomplished musician, so I do not play in an orchestra.
Justin.
Justin is
Oh,
incredibly
gosh.
accomplished musician. By the way, lots of accomplished musicians. In fact, I should say most accomplished musicians don't play in orchestras. So.
I don't know about that.
That's not
I think
true.
like just
There's
ratio-wise,
accomplished-
yes. Like,
right, because of the
just by
but anyway,
sheer numbers.
it's very
Yeah.
hard to get into an orchestra, like impossible. Does anyone have any other comments about this episode, or particularly music and sound? This goes for chat too. Like if you have any sound or music moments or questions about the music or sound that stuck out to you, let us know in these few minutes before we wrap up.
Yeah.
And also let us know if you would like us to go live again sometime. I don't know. We might be able to do that. For
That'd be. I mean, I
okay.
guess we understand if the answer is no, if you didn't have fun today. But we hope that you're not just gonna.
Yeah, please.
No, this was
yeah.
awful.
Go live, but without James this time.
Aww.
Aw.
No.
Well, we might go
You're
live
the only
next
reason
week,
I
but-
would go live, James.
Or maybe at least definitely during the finale we should do an in-person live. That'd be fun.
Yeah.
That would be fun.
Well, yeah, I think. I mean, there's no reason why we can't just do this at Xanthe's house next week,
That's true. We
Um,
could go live.
and that way we'll have XT on the call too.
Yeah.
So.
Looks
Yeah,
like-
and I gotta say the 6 p.m. airtime makes all the difference, right? Like
Totally.
we can
yeah.
we can actually
yeah.
do this. We can
Yeah.
we can actually like coordinate watching together. We can also share opinions. Like 6 p.m. PST is great for us, and I imagine it's so much better for East Coast folks too. They
Oh,
can
yeah.
like watch the show at 9 p.m. instead of freaking midnight, or or 3 a.m. Right?
3 a.m. Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that they keep this going for like Andor season 2 because
Yeah.
that'll be a lot
Right.
of fun.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I imagine they get more engagement on Twitter when people are home at work wanting to tweet about a show they just watched instead of staying up at 3 a.m. They're not going to tweet immediately. I mean, some people might. I mean, I know that a lot of people do.
They do, and
I
they
jump-
tag me, and they
Yeah.
and they say, "Hey, did you see the words?" And I'm like, "No, it's 2 a.m."
Yeah, right? But now we can actually put Ender to work for a good,
Yeah,
like, for the last waking hours of his poor Tuesday when he's trying to do literally anything else. We can bother him. We can harass him and make him solve font and text related mysteries for us.
Yeah,
So-
oh, that's true. Matthew says, I also want to say it's a delight when someone recreates part of the score with instruments you have around. Noted. We'll keep doing it. James, maybe next time you come over, you could bring like a little hand drum or something.
I mean, that's the thing. I definitely could. I hope.
If they
That's
weren't
the thing about like
moth-ridden.
doing a live reaction.
I could.
Like, there could be no percussion in next episode. You know what I mean?
feel
And
like
then
I've
I'm like,
heard
just
hand. I think I've heard hand percussion in almost every single episode so far.
yeah. All right. Fine.
I'll have my ear out. Plus, you
Here's
could,
the thing about the way that they mix these shows, though, is that you really can't tell what's happening percussively unless you're watching it with headphones on, in my experience. Like, I can never tell what's happening percussively on a TV ever. And I'm a freaking percussionist. And then I put my headphones on. I'm like, oh, that's a talking drum, like right now. There's no way I heard that on your TV. But, like, now I'm like, oh, okay, now I can actually hear it. It's also, here's the other thing. It's like, this is also, like, this is like a statistical thing, like correlation. Like I also am a drummer, so therefore my hearing is worse, right? So so there's that, right?
Right.
So could be that
Because
too.
you've blown out your ears, is what you mean.
Precisely.
Right? Yeah,
Right,
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, sad.
That's why you can always hear an echo from my end of things, because my headphones are always way louder
So
than
loud.
everybody else's. So.
Okay, well, while we end, we have this. If anyone wants to sing along, does that make sense? This.
No, but the thing is that we should only do the second.
This part. Yeah, that part.
We're gonna sing it out.
That's what they said today. Sorry, lie.
I still don't know this.
Like again, Anyway, thanks for joining, everyone. This has been fun. We'll probably do it again.
Cheers, everybody.
I guess that's it. See you next week. Bye.
Bye.